Hello Internet, Cayce here. I'm going to do a little commentary today and tell you guys about my introduction into D&D. And I'm backing it with some Dark Souls here. I have recently been playing this again because I motivated my girlfriend to play it, and she's been having a good time, and it kind of like rekindled the how much I love this game kind of feeling. So I went back through it and did a big strength build, and then I realized, hey, I never beat the DLC bosses. Like, I never even went into this DLC region. So this would be the first time I ever beat the Black Dragon Calamite, and I did it with a fresh dex build with the Uchi Katana until I beat Artorias, and then I used the Gold Tracer. And right here, walking through the valley, you'll see me like switch between them because I was kind of like gauging what was good, what was doing more damage. So without further ado, we'll get into my D&D experience. And so it started way back when I was probably like 7 or 8. It had to have been pre-double digits. It's about as best as I can put to it. I don't know, like narrow it down. I actually stumbled across some character sheets when I was over at my uncle's house. I think my mom was stopping by for something real quick, and on their coffee table they had a bunch of character sheets and stuff. And I was like, whoa, like I've heard of D&D, but like, I didn't really expect my uncle was like in his 30s at the time and all of his friends to play it. I thought it was like some teenager, like kid game, because it's just, kids do all the cool, edgy stuff. So that was like the first time I like personally like saw somebody play D&D, but I never really like asked them about it or anything. We were only over there for like 5 minutes or something. So, but fast forward like probably like 4 years, and I go over to my buddy's house, and his older brother, like 5 years older than him and his other two friends, and my friend, were all playing. And some type of story. I don't know if it was like their main thing or if it was a one shot, but like somehow after like asking, they ended up like writing a character sheet for either just me or me and Richie. I don't remember, but we ended up being a part of it, and I like had a vague understanding of how it worked, and so went from there. And I remember like we were walking down like a valley or like a between two mountains or something, like a trench, and like someone had to roll like a dex save and like got immediately crushed with a rock. So I didn't know back then, but I was like, whoa, like I don't know if it was an NPC or a dude, I forget, but they were just like done, like lights out, so I think it was a one shot, and I think he was just wrapping it up for the night. It was something they were just messing around with, and they would revert it. But like for our attention, since I was there and Richie was getting involved, it might have been a one shot, and he was just like, whatever, we'll give you guys like some rogues or something. But he was like messing with us, and we went up to like this mountain and like went into a cave. They were like roll perception, and it was like you kind of feel like the ground shaking, and we all like piled in this cave, and like 30 seconds later an avalanche happened, and then there was like a body of water in this weird cave, and the one guy dives in, and there's two rings at the bottom, and he was like, one's gold and one's silver, and the guy said, I put the silver ring on, and it like turned him into a female immediately, and then he was like, we're gonna end the session. And that was my first experience. We didn't do like a whole lot. There was like more than what I've told you, but I'm basically generalizing how it was basically him just goofing off, because we like joined in the middle of whatever they were achieving. So the next more serious, I guess you could say, impact that I had towards D&D, or D&D had me, when I was dating my current girlfriend. She became a apprentice at her tattoo shop, and her mentor was like a 25 years strong like D&D enthusiast. Like, he was hardcore. I have pictures, maybe I'll post them on the Reroll Expectations Twitter, and you guys can see them. But he had hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of minis. His mini collection was so intense that like he actually kept them on shelves at the tattoo parlor to show them off. He put 180 hours into building Tiamat, and he did it all by himself from the ground up. I forget what synthetic material he used, but he made a large scale Tiamat. It was like the size of like half a fridge. Like, it was huge. I have a picture of that too. I'll make sure to post that one on the Twitter as well. So she is told that she has to play D&D because it's a requirement in her apprenticeship, because tattoo parlors and apprentice, they make up whatever rules they want. So he was like, yeah, you gotta play a session of D&D with me. Long story short, he ends up leaving, quits out of the tattoo business, just kind of burned out, yada yada. But one of her coworkers is also into D&D, and so is her husband, and so them three and one other person, two other people, create like an all-girls D&D campaign that eventually ends, and she enjoyed it, but like also didn't enjoy it for like people interaction reasons. And so it was like, man, like I really wanted to play, but like it was also like supposed to be like only girls that were playing this campaign that the one girl's husband was hosting. So it was like, all right, so she would just tell me about her, like, you know, all of their interactions and her character, and she played a warlock and yada yada, and it was really cool. So I've been itching to play for so long because I keep seeing all these people that are playing around me, and so I find out one of the local meaderies where I live were hosting like a Wednesday D&D thing where they were gonna get people together to like create a party for this. This was pre-COVID, by the way. This is probably like I don't know, October 19, September. It was like fall, doesn't matter. But they host a Wednesday thing, so we pretty much just meet up, start playing board games, waiting for the guy who runs the thing to like create a one shot, and then I was like, I don't know, like this is cool, but like all these people are kind of edgy, and I don't really like them. They're just like a little too awkward for me. So like I kept going, and then ended up having a conversation with somebody, and they were like, yeah, we're trying to play some D&D. So I ran a one shot with them type thing. I won't even dare to explain it. And then he was like, hey, let's get into a Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avarice. And I was like, I'm all for it, dude. So he kicked up a campaign, and it was my friend Josh DMing, his girlfriend playing a halfling warlock. I played a human fighter, and we had a water Genesee and a human cleric. And I played basically a typical, I don't want to say typical, but I played a fighter with like insane strength. I think I had max strength. Don't ask, but I had max strength. I had like 7 intelligence and like 7 wisdom, and then like the rest. So like I pretty much just played this guy who was a soft brain kind of buffoon, told really bad jokes, and like didn't know like anything more than shapes and colors. So yeah, it was a good time. But COVID happened, so that one kind of like started to a close. You know, we were just like, we got a quarantine. We probably could have kept going, but we all worked in the public, or they all worked in the public, and I didn't, so it just wasn't a good idea. So that happened, and then from there on, me and Jeff had been talking about starting a podcast, or me and I've bounced the idea of a podcast off a couple people, and Jeff also happened to be one of those, and he was like, hey, dude, like let's do this D&D thing. And so like that happened, and the rest is history. So I can go into depth about maybe some of my other, or maybe my other campaign sometime, but you know, generally there's 1.5 million stories of people at Baldur's Gate. We only really made it into where we were actually like, we were just getting into Avernus. Like we had just made it in and made it down a couple of the streets, and we made it to what I think is like their Capitol building or their church or whatever, and it like, yeah, COVID happened. So it was like, yeah, we gotta take a wrap on this. And it was kind of an uncomfortable time dealing with some of the people that were in that campaign, so I don't entirely miss it, and I've been enjoying Reroll Expectations. So that was a pretty crunched up summarization short video, less than 10 minutes of my D&D entry. Reroll is going really awesome. I'm enjoying my time being a druid support / awkward bird dude. I hope you guys are too, and I hope you enjoyed the Dark Souls backdrop. This took me about, I don't know, I'd say a dozen attempts, and yeah, I finally did it. I do have a recording of me beating Artorias for the first time too, for those of you who are familiar with the series, so expect that to come out soon on my YouTube channel, which is just Cayce, capital Cayce. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed.